Hello, seventh grade readers. This is Mrs. Harding, and today I'm going to help you use evidence from the book Lyddie to help you prepare for your next assignment, which is going to be for you to write a claim and support it with evidence answering this question. Should Lyddie sign the petition or not? So in the recent chapters that we've been reading, you read a lot about how Lyddie is struggling with this petition that's going around, and other characters in the book are too. So there's a petition that's going around where they want the workers to sign against the factory, saying that their working conditions are really bad and they want to lessen their hours. Remember, they're working in awful conditions. If you haven't already gone through the lessons previous to this one, please go back and look at those working condition lessons. The videos there are really eye-opening, as this is based on history. So a lot of this is things that really happened in the past with working conditions in factories being awful. So there's a petition trying to make those working conditions better. On the, just surface level, that sounds like a great thing. Why wouldn't they all sign the petition and move on with life? Well, there's some implications to signing the petition, as I'm sure you have already read in chapter 13 or chapter 12 of Lyddie. So please pause the video if you don't already have your book and go get it, and then come back. Okay, I'm hoping that you paused, that you got your book, you came back, and now flip open to page 91, which is in chapter 12. And about halfway down, it starts this conversation between Lyddie and Betsy about the petition and if they should sign it or not. And then it goes through page 92 to about the top of 93. So I'd like you to again pause this recording and just read that section to yourself. It starts in the middle of 91 and it starts with, "We're all working like black slaves," is what said Betsy. "I've got a mind to sign the blooming petition." Okay, and then keep reading on through the top of page 93, just the first sentence, and then play the video again. Okay, I'm hoping that you paused the video and now that you're back with me after having reread that quick section. Okay, so now that you have that in the back of your mind about that conversation between Betsy and Lyddie, we're going to dive into some questions here that have some evidence from the book. And this will really help you in your next assignment. So make sure you're following along with me. You can jot down notes in your ELA notebook. I provided the same chart to you in the lesson page, so you can either print it out and write right on it and glue that into your ELA notebook, or you can just write down notes as we do this video. But either way, make sure you have notes so that on our next assignment, you'll be able to use all this information that we talk about to help you provide evidence for your claim. So remember, a claim is when you are making a statement about something and you want people to agree with you. And in this case, we have a prompt, should Lyddie sign the petition or not? So in the next assignment, you're going to have to choose one side. Yes, she should sign the petition, or no, she should not. I'm not going to tell you which side to choose. That's up to you. But I am going to help give you some evidence that you can use for either side. Okay, so this first one says, what about the working conditions makes Betsy think she should sign the petition? So here we find some evidence for that right away on page 91. One of the things that she says, and I'm just going to do bullet points here, because you can write it in complete sentences in the assignment, but right now we can just do a list. One of the things that she says is that she has no spare time, that she's doing, like she's working all the time. She has no free hours at all. Okay? Another thing that she says is that the condition or the machines have been sped up so much. It's making her worn out, basically. Machines sped up. Let's see, I have other notes over here. I'm just looking through. Okay, she also talks about how, I think that's on the, yep, down here in the bottom of page 91. She said the machines have been sped up at a speed that would make the devil curse. So that would be a great quote to put in your writing. She said she's worn out. And then Okay, and then I thought she was on this page. Maybe it's on the next page. She talks about how her wages have gone down more than they have gone up. Yep, right here on page 92. She says, we're working longer hours, tending more machines, all which have been speeded to the demon pace, so the corporation can make a packet of money. Our real wages have gone down more often than they've gone up. Okay, so wages gone down more often than gone up. Okay, and so, and you want to make sure, obviously, all these you give the evidence. So I didn't quote specifically from the book, like I just read it to you, but in your assignment next, you'd want to quote it specifically from the book and put quotation marks around it. But right now, I'm just giving you some points to remember, and the page numbers are in these parentheses, so you can go back and find them and just copy it right from the book. But you also could use these points to talk about in your own words, right? To explain what the character is experiencing. So these are all Betsy's reasons for why they should sign the petition. So if your claim is that Lyddie should sign the petition, you'd want to use some of this as your evidence. Okay, we're going to move on to number 2. Lyddie says if we just work 10 hours, we'd be paid much less on page 91. What can you infer about what the petition is calling for? So if we just work 10 hours, we'd be paid much less. Side note, do you realize that she said just 10 hours? That's crazy. That's so many hours. So that means I can infer they're working more than 10 hours right now, and the petition must say that they get to have shorter work days. Okay, so they are working more than 10 hours a day, and the petition calls for shorter work days. Okay? And says, what does Lyddie think will happen to her wages if the mill owners listen to the petition? So again, to this quote says we'd be paid much less. So she's thinking that because the mill owners, right, the corporation would have workers for a less amount of time, she's thinking they wouldn't be able to earn as much money probably, and therefore pay them less. Okay, so workers would, oops, get paid less. And then, of course, less hours. If they're getting paid hourly, then that also could be getting paid less for that reason too. So these are some reasons of why, if you want to choose the side of not signing the petition, you might use some of these reasons, again, of why Lyddie doesn't want to sign it. Okay? All right, number 3, workers who signed the petition might be blacklisted. That's on page 92. What does that mean? I'd like to flip to another screen here. This is from our earlier lesson, and you can see here where it says blacklisted. So to be blacklisted means to be put on a list of people or things that are regarded as unacceptable or untrustworthy and should be excluded or avoided. You can see this image here of a list, and there's a blacklist over it. So coming back to this page, let's think about blacklisted in the context of this book, and they're saying blacklisted would mean a list of people not to hire. So nowadays, we don't have that. We have laws against that, but at this time, that could happen where the owners could share the list with others and say, don't hire these people. These people have signed a petition and they want shorter work hours or better pay or etc. So like, if you don't want to deal with that, then don't hire them. And so it could be really hard to find a job if you're on this like blacklisted list. Okay, I already copied this in real quick here. This is from page 93. So I had you stop at page 93 last time. So if you want to pause real quick and just read the short page here of 93 and then come right back, that would be great. So go ahead and do that. Okay, I'm hoping that you paused and you read page 93 and now you're back with me. So here we're looking at how does Lyddie compare the factory work to her life in the tavern? And page 93 says how Lyddie says that her hours are shorter at the factory and her pay is actually better at the factory than it was at the tavern. So if you want to try to prove or show reasons why Lyddie should not sign the petition, you would want to find that quote on 93 and copy that into your assignment. Okay, number 5. Lyddie says on page 92, I got to have the money. I got to pay the debts before, da, 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 da. What does she mean there? So think about that. Why is she so motivated? Why will she work crazy hours, can be completely tired, working with multiple dangerous machines that are keep speeding up? Why is she so motivated? So if you don't remember, you can go back to page 93 and read through that when she talks about um, just all that she, why she that she really needs to have the money. But you also could go back even further to where she got a letter from her mother, which is on page 88. And in this letter, her mother tells her about some concerns they're having in the family and asking her to send money and about her siblings being sick. And then at the bottom of page 88, it says, she must work harder. She must earn all the money to pay what they owed so she could gather her family together back on the farm while she still had family left to gather. The idea of living alone and orphaned and without brother or sister, a life barren of land and family like Deanna's, dot, dot, dot. It's like I can infer there that it's almost like too awful for her to even complete that sentence or to think about. So it just goes dot, dot, dot. So thinking back to that page 88 and also this quote from 92, I'm going to let you answer this on your own of why you think Lyddie needs to work so hard for this money. Why is she so motivated to even work through such terrible conditions? All right, so as you go to your next assignment, you're going to be asked to provide a claim, which is simply Lyddie should sign the petition or Lyddie should not sign the petition, and then to give evidence from the book to prove your stance. Okay, now either side is correct. What I'm looking for are complete sentences with capitals at the beginning and periods at the end, no spelling errors, and I'm also looking for evidence from the text. So make sure you are using some of the ideas we mentioned here, but also quoting evidence directly from the book. You can just type it right out and put quotation marks on either side so that you are really supporting your claim well. Thank you, readers.